Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Beastman Review. It's Neanderthal Beastman coming to you from the jungle. And we're going to be taking a look at a figure I'm excited to show you guys. Had it for a while. I've kind of sat on it, kind of here and there. If you follow me on Instagram, The Mighty Beastman, you've probably seen many photos I've taken of this majestic leader of the Maximals, Optimus Primal. Now, this figure is not the regular release. This is actually the Netflix version of the character. So there's some slight paint applications that are different. I think I might have gotten the first one, but I think I might have traded it to someone. I digress. This is still one of my favorite figures that's come out of the Kingdom line next to Cheetor. I don't have Rhinox yet, but I plan on getting Rhinox by the end of the year. And then also the Kingdom Ravage. Those ones are some of my favorite ones that they've come out with, doing the Beast Wars characters, which I grew up with Beast Wars. It was my first introduction to Transformers. It's stood out for years and years and years. I mean, that was when I first figured out what G1 was. Although, growing up, my brother did have some of the G1 figures, and he grew up with Generation 1, so he knew what Generation 1 was. That's why when Beast Wars came out, he was right on that, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. They're robots, but they're animals. You know, what kid doesn't like, toy animals and dinosaurs and robots, especially when they are combined. No pun intended. So, I had my first experience with Transformers. I remember it was on Fox Kids. Fox Kids, Saturday mornings, Beast Wars would come out, and I would watch it with my brother and my dad. So, having this figure in hand, which is almost like just a higher quality of the CGI model. I mean, it's not a masterpiece figure, but by all means, it's still one that I like to take a look at when it's on my shelf or do photographs of it. So, we'll do a couple size comparisons in his robot mode. We'll do size comparisons with Transformers Beast Machine's Optimus Primal. If you haven't seen, there is a review of him that I did. It was an old review, so mind if you watch it, it probably might not be like these ones, but I would highly recommend watching it. There's not enough people talking about this Optimus Primal, and it was cool I was able to even get it. So, that's something that I really liked. But as you can see, I mean, they were relatively close to the same size. This was a deluxe at one point. And I don't even know what you'd even consider these new class sizes. They've kind of went down. But there we go. And this one, I've also done a figure review of also. Also, the TheUtahRanger. He did, out of it's the original ones. He's got the original Megatron and the original Optimus Primal. Also, he's got the bat and the alligator versions of him also. But here we go. Here is the original Ultra Class Optimus Primal with the Kingdom Optimus Primal. You can see that he's significantly larger. But it was also cool. I was able to even find the original one. I was tempted to get the reissues, but I heard there were some plastic issues, and I don't know if that's true. Let me know in the comment section below, because I may consider getting the reissues. But if not, I think I'll live. So, there's a couple cool little things about this figure. He does come with his two swords, and he can hold them respectfully. And dignitily. He's got dignity. He's a monkey with dignity and class. Ha! Well, that's just Prime. So, I mean, it's a great figure. I mean, the molding detail, it's got some good weight to it, which is nice because there's been some that have come out in the recent couple years that they're a little bit hollow. I like my plastic to have some weight, you know? I mean, even going back to, what was it, like the Generations line and the classics, some of those figures had some good weight to it. Combiner Wars, just for example, Combiner Wars Optimus and another example, the Fall of Cyber, no, yeah, War for, yeah, Fall of Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. They're great figures. It's just the hollowness, even though you don't really see it, you know it's there. And I don't know, part of it bugs me, part of it doesn't, but I remember growing up, remember the Armada figures. The Armada figures were just chunky blocks, like kind of like Generation 1, because the whole toy was pretty much a Minicon gimmick for the most part. But they had some weight. I remember I had the Megatron, but his little clamper horns broke. It was kind of, it had some weight to it. And that's what I like about some of these Kingdom ones. The Megatron, the Kingdom Megatron I think it's that, because it's that soft rubber plastic that he has a lot of it on him. He has some good chunky weight to him, and I like that. I like him thick. I like him chunky. So, he does have some really good articulation. He can do a full 360 and chop his inner thigh off. Here, let's take his sword out. Sorry. So he can do a full 360 at his shoulder, his bicep, and his forearm. I mean, if he can do a full 360 at his bicep. His good over 90 degree angle in his elbow, and he does have the same squared off. It's really hard to tell. I'm sure you can see it right there. It's the same squared off kind of design that the original Optimus Primal toy had. His head can do a full 360. He can swivel at the waist. He can do a swivel man. He does have articulation at the top of his thigh, but as you can see, there is some rubbage going on right here, and it's rubbing on the inside of his crotchal area. I guess that's what you would call it. I don't know. But he does have some good bend at the knee. So he's got that going for him, so he can do knee stuff. His foot does have some articulation, and that's due to transformation. I didn't mean to make that rhyme. I really... Is it a crime to rhyme? Or do I have to pay a dime and get slimed? So, anyways, yeah, he's got some articulation in his foot. And it locks in to keep his foot from doing the jitterbug. Now, if you have a fossilizer Paleotrex, you can recreate the same mace as the original Primal has. I'll take that out of his hand for a minute. So this is the original mace. You can see, look how yellow that string is on the mace. I don't know what's on it. I don't think I want to know. But yeah, there's the original mace, and here is Paleotrex's head when he's got his mask down. Focus, focus. There we go. You can see they took a lot of inspiration from this. When I was a kid, I always was confused, like if this is like an alien head or like what. But years later, they're like, you know what? We're gonna make that into a character. I made a video talking about the head becoming the mace's, like the mace weapon. That's his face underneath it. But yeah, years, 20 some odd years later, they're like, you know what? We're just gonna make this into a character. But it's cool. It's cool to know that this is now canon. This is Paleotrex. Even though he never appeared in any of the original Beast Wars stuff, nothing, but to me, it's canon now. Just think of this as it being like his robotic spine. As awful as it is to imagine, that's what it is to me. So you can actually recreate that look of him holding that mace. Another cool little thing is the original Optimus Primal, his sword stored inside this little slot on his back. You can kind of do that with these ones. There is a slot right here, and this little tab just pops right in. And I think I just... Well, that's very strange. Oh, it's in his hand. I'm looking all over for his other sword. He's holding it. Gosh. And there we go. You can recreate some really cool poses from his old artwork with it if you really wanted to, because he does have the posability to do so. Now, I'm going to show you a fan mode that my friend Hollow Matt Dude on Instagram showed, and oh, I know this whole time I just realized this. Good thing it caught me. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I knew something didn't look right. I swear I knew something did not look right. There you go. Now he has the... He's at the proper chest plate now. There we go. That's very nice. Great job. So, yeah. As you can see, they did recreate... Well, now determining on really what is based on off of what, because the toys came out first, and then they made the CGI characters. But yeah, you can see where they got the idea for this on his chest, and that. Now it's supposed to, apparently, it's supposed to look like the Matrix of leadership. The Transformer Cybertron Optimus Prime / Optimus Primal, depending on where it was released at and what kind of paint scheme it has. The Matrix from Transformer Cybertron is the design on the Optimus Primal / Optimus Prime ape chest. So, I mean, you can see it's supposed to be like an Energon Matrix, something of the sort, depending on what canon you're reading, what comic book you're reading, what story. They refer to it as an Energon Matrix. Most commonly, if you've seen the Beast Wars second animated movie, it's really hard to find it in a good English dub, but the English subtitle is just as good. Him and Leo Prime activate their Energon matrices to stop Black Zarak or Majin Zarak. So, anyways, yeah, the thing I was getting onto was the fan mode that my friend Hollow Matt Dude on Instagram came up with, and let me show you guys what that looks like. And here we go. This is what is known as his Arctic armor. And as you can see, he's mid of his transformation into his gorilla mode. And I really like it. I really dig it. I do apologize about leaving the gorilla chest on his regular robot mode. I was tinkering around with it. Kind of didn't it kind of didn't register in my brain that, like, oh wait, that doesn't look right. So as you can see, he's got his shoulder pads down, and pretty much his lower body has been twisted backwards, the little flap covering the back. So he's pretty much almost like a Sasquatch kind of mode, I guess you could call it. He's got his over-the-shoulder cannons facing up, and he has his sword stored on his back as well. Cool little thing with this, I can show you his little blast effects features that he does in this mode. On his shoulders, you can plug in a blast effect. You can plug them in on each one if you wish to do so. And while he's in this mode too, I can show you he does have little cannons that pop off out of his forearms like he did in the original show. And this little panel, it's really hard to kind of point it out. There we go, right here. That pushes in, thus causing this to push out. And same thing, there's two little blaster ports right here. Right there. 1 and 2. And if he wants to cooperate with me, you can plug that in and you can pew pew bang bang. To quote Emgo, pew pew bang bang. So that is his Arctic mode. Let me show you his gorilla mode. And here he is in his gorilla mode, and it's very it's very well done. And mind, I mean, they're trying to make realistic looking animals out of transforming robots. So you're going to see some bits of robotic parts here and there, but it's not bad. It is not bad. It doesn't really bother me. I love the head. Look at that. And I mean, just this is torso. So if you look at him from the back, I mean, you could definitely tell he is a robot in disguise because you can see the red bits of his knee and the white parts on his thigh. But and then also, you know, the big robot thing on the back of his feet. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I can overlook it. I can overlook it completely. The detail, the molded detail, the fur, it has almost as much articulation. The back end articulation's a little bit hindered, but he still has the same articulation in his arms, because the only difference is that these flaps are just, again, like I showed you in that fan mode that Hollow Matt dude came up with, they just flap down. And his head, he can look around. Hakuna Matata. It's Primal saying. Next to that's just Prime. Hakuna Matata. Well, that's just Hakuna Matata. I just love the articulation. I wish that they had a thing for his mouth to open, but again, I'll take what I got. It's hard. I know you probably can't tell, but his eyes are actually painted brownish with a black pupil. So that's some nice little detail. Now, he does have this version. I can do this on camera because it's not as time consuming. He does have another mode, and you can stand him up on his hind legs. And Let's adjust his arms. Adjust this arm. This hand. And you got Bigfoot. So I like to call my Bigfoot mode. I mean, I know that he walked upright in the show, but with how they were kind of going with how Primal is with everything else that he's in, he's not standing up straight very often. But you can also do this if you really want to. You can pop this. You can pop his guns out. It's kind of an odd spot to put these blasters at. And let's just adjust him off camera for a second. There we go. So you can give him his cannons. And you can give him his swords if you so wish. Now when he's standing up straight with his shoulder cannons out, they do look like they would probably hurt him more than he would be hurting the Predacons. But if you put him in his mode with him facing upwards, let's bend his knees back in. You can kind of get that look that the Optimus Primal in, I believe it was Earth Wars and Forged to Fight. He kind of had, when he's in his gorilla mode, he had the guns on his shoulders. So you could get this really cool, like he's ready for war. Bring it on, Megatron. Bring all the Predacons. Because when it comes down to it, it's prime time. And by prime time, he's about to go primal on you. Primal who? Optimus. Optimus Primal. So if you like this figure, let me know in the comments below. What is your thoughts on it? Is it something that you have? Is it something that you'd like? Because I could highly recommend it to your collection, especially if you're a Beast Wars enthusiast like I am. Most definitely pick it up. I'm sure you could probably find it for a little bit cheaper now because now we got all the legacy stuff. And you know, who knows? They might be doing a Burning Convoy version of this mold for legacy. If you're not familiar with who Burning Convoy is, I'd check it out. It's pretty cool. They might even do a repaint of the Power of the Primes evolution, Optimus Primal into Optimal Optimus into Primal Prime. But I love this mold. I love the figure. I love the character. Gary Chalk is my Optimus Primal. And if you're excited for anything Beast Wars, then I'm sure you're aware of Rise of the Beast coming out next year. It got pushed back. And I'm excited to see that. I mean, again, I grew up with Beast Wars. Like, Beast Wars was everything that I've set Transformers related, for the most part, leans towards how would they handle it if it was Beast Wars. Because Beast Wars had an amazing just an amazing character story growth for everyone. So, Beast Wars, gotta have it, love it, want some more of it. Don't forget to like the video if you really liked it. And then, of course, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. It helps me out a lot. And if you hit the notification bell, that helps me out even more so. That way I know for sure you're getting all of my notifications when I'm putting up new videos. There's a Beast Wars Beast Mode series that I'm actually doing again. This is actually, fun fact, the first episode in a long time and months, since I think about the beginning of the year or even like the ending of last year, of my series called Beast Mode, where I went over characters that had beast modes. Now it could be from any generation, Generation 1, to Transformers Cybertron, to Energon, to all these different series that beast modes were a thing in, I cover that with it. So check out that. There's a playlist on that. And then don't forget, if you're into Pokemon cards, I do have a playlist. And then that is PokeQuest, my other series. It's an ongoing series on here. And then my brand new series, which is going to be composed of everything of the old retro stuff, comics, figures, cards, all the way up to the forgotten ones. And that is my Thursday show, Throwback Thunder Thursday. And that I've got a Pokemon video. I think you guys are going to love it. I've announced it on my social medias, the Facebook group. I've announced it on Instagram, Twitter. If you don't follow those, follow me on Instagram, again, at The Mighty Beastman with an E. Follow me on Twitter at The Mighty Beastman with an E. Not to be confused with an A like my old one was. And in the Facebook group, official Nernadell Beastman. And then a big shout out to Hollow Matt Dude. I'll put his stuff in the bio. In the description. Not the bio. I'll put all of his stuff in the description below. Check out his Instagram. He's got some amazing photos that he does. He does the cool backgrounds, the cool editing. He does some amazing stuff. In fact, he was featured on Thew's awesome Transformers reviews. He sent him some amazing printouts of the photos that he took and edited. So, again, shout out to you, Hollow Matt Dude. Thanks for letting me do that. I mean, you're the only person I know that's done a fan alt mode like that. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'll showcase that. I'm doing Optimus Primal from Kingdom. You got that. You got that mode. And again, it just looks fantastic. It fits Primal, the jungle-esque vibe that Primal gives off, the Primal rage. So, thank you for watching. And remember, till all are one. And, well, that's just Prime.